In today's video, we are breaking down Hansen Yang and what he's actually going to be able to do in the NBA. Now, I made a terrible review of him because he wasn't doing very well in the NBA draft game. So, well, he's had a pretty good summer league. So let's go and say that draft game or that pre-draft game versus summer league. What has changed, and will he end up in the NBA or will he end up in the I played in the D League. G League. No difference, just they changed the letter. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about that today. We're talking about Hansen Yang. But if you want to become a better center, make sure to go check out the center blueprint that is down in the description below. So, even myself, one of the most favorite things that I can do is to hit a teammate on a backdoor cut like this. Now, this is not necessarily one of the hardest things to be able to do. All this relies on is your ability to read your teammate, read his defender, and be able to lead a pass. So anyone who thinks that this is actually something that's really hard to be able to do, the actual credit should go to his teammate, because all we're doing here is just a lead pass on a backdoor cut. He was able to see that the backdoor cut was there as an option, and we have to remember that the NBA wants to try and get that basketball into the paint as many times as possible so that they can either get some open dunks or layups or some open opportunities for three-point shots because you've collapsed the defense. Now, being able to read this is actually really good. So his ability to take one dribble and then being able to hit a backdoor cut off of a one-hand pass is very impressive. This makes for really good basketball, and his teammates are going to love him because he's going to be racking up a lot of assists. But is this actually a hard pass? We have to remember that he's basically 7 feet tall, which essentially means that he's going to be able to see over top of the defense, which means that he is going to be able to see over top of the players who are guarding their individual man. And if you've got a player who can cut back door, there's a little bit of a height advantage here. There's a little bit of a gap here. You can then basically lead that pass over top of the defender and hit your man as long as you've got a somewhat accurate pass. Now, as a 7-footer, you are pretty well obligated to play some post defense. And in this situation, yes, he has to be able to block that shot. He has to be able to read what's happening. So while, yes, this is a great play, it is something that is needed and you have to be able to do at the NBA level. Now, there was a lot of people saying, oh, wow, he can shoot threes, but this was a bank. So we have to keep that in mind as well. There's a lot of people thinking that he's going to be taking some major minutes in the NBA to start, and I'm not going to say he isn't. However, what I will say is that he has fantastic basketball IQ. Now, this is something that you do need at the NBA level. This is the major reason why Jokic gets so much money, because his basketball IQ is massive. And if you've got high basketball IQ as a center, you are going to be very valuable. Now, this clip right here, I really like to see, because in the pre-draft game, he was actually not doing that well. He was missing these layups, but he's making them here. I think it was all of the other non-NBA pre-draft parties or pre-draft games that actually made his draft stock go up. Now, I'm quite curious if this was all directed by Hansen Yang or if he just had a very smart teammate. However, they go for that screen here where his teammate would be looking to go here, the roll would be here, or you can just essentially break off the screen early and, of course, cut to the rim. Now, this could have been all his teammates' brain work, but the fact that if we go back and we watch Hansen Yang right here, watch what he does. The fact that he waves his teammate off as if to say, cut to the rim. Maybe he's calling both of these guys to clear out, who knows? But just the fact that he waved, which means that potentially he told his man to be able to take this cut, might show some huge IQ. I will say that his footwork on this spin move is a travel, but it is impossible almost to do a spin move without traveling, because you'll see right here. And he does not get called for it, but he plants that left foot, which this is the left foot right there. Plants that foot, hops, and then pivots one more time. This is 100% a travel. He needs to get slightly better footwork right here. However, it didn't get called a travel because it is almost impossible, and I'll tell you that for a fact, it is almost impossible for a referee to see this in real time. If we go back and non-slow motion it, you are going to see something that is just what looks to be a perfect spin move, but it is not. Now, one thing that I used to get really upset with about Kai Soto, who is another Asian prospect who I absolutely have huge respect for. I think he's a fantastic center. One thing that I was really harsh on him about in videos was the fact that he would not sprint after a screen. However, what we can see here with Hansen Yang in fast normal speed is that he sprints to the basket, which then gets him open for these dunks. If he doesn't sprint, or if you're a center and you don't sprint to that rim, then you are not going to have yourself open as much as you would like when you are rolling towards that rim. So make sure, if you want to have higher basketball IQ, make sure to go check out the center blueprint that is down in the description below. And I will see you guys again in my next video. Hit that like button and subscribe.